Welcome back to Steele and Vance. Okay, we're going to talk policing. Yes, we're going to talk Surrey Police Services and Surrey RCMP. Yes, we're going to talk about everything that's been happening here. And yes, Linda is married to the Surrey Police Services Chief, Norm Lipinski.
Okay, so as you know, we talked about it last week and we've talked about it before, and none of us want to talk about it anymore. We would like this to be resolved, frankly. And I'm not just talking about me
personally,
or you.
No,
I'm talking
I want
about
it. It's costing me money.
All of the RCMP, all of the Surrey Police Service, Surrey voters, all of BC taxpayers who may now be on the hook to resolve a crazy situation in Surrey.
It's got to stop.
The provincial government, the Solicitor General, took a very long time, finally came out and said last week that he believes strongly that Surrey should continue on with the transition to the Surrey Police. Brenda Locke came out shortly after the mayor and said, no, I saw nothing that's going to change my mind. We're going to stay with the RCMP. Even though the Public Safety Minister and Solicitor General suggested that there was going to be some serious money on the table to help Surrey with the costs.
$250,000.
Billion. A quarter of a billion.
A quarter of a billion dollars.
Your tax dollars, my tax dollars, all of our tax dollars.
We're going to dive into all of that, but first we got to connect with Rob Shaw, who is our legislative correspondent for CHEK. And Rob, the questions we asked right after this was, why just a recommendation?
Yeah, why a recommendation and not a decision is the big question here. The government arguing that it doesn't have the power to force a policing decision on a municipality. I don't think that's true. They have done it before, and they will probably do it again in the future. There's some political considerations here. This NDP government doesn't want to solve Surrey's problem for it. Surrey created this policing back and forth mess. The NDP doesn't feel like it is needing to expend its political capital on solving it. And also, 7 of 9 Surrey ridings are New Democrat. There's 4 cabinet ministers here. This is a government worried that if it makes the wrong decision about the RCMP or Surrey Police, it might face political consequences in the next election as well. So trying as much as it can to stay out of a fight that it does have the power to solve if it wants.
Yeah, and the frustrating thing is that people are saying, you're being political now, you're being political, you're political. Everybody's being political. And so, Rob, the other question we wanted to know is, what is next then? What now?
Yeah, that is the big question, because it's not like this recommendation has actually solved the political dilemma. You have Surrey's mayor continuing to charge forward with it. The NDP is hoping she might take some time and then take the out and the money here. We're not entirely sure if that's going to happen. There were a couple conversations with the premier and the mayor. He came out today saying, you know what, we will have a full briefing with Surrey Council to let them see all of the redacted pages of one of the reports. I'm not sure that's going to solve the issue. It really is going to come down to one vote here on Surrey Council, whether this is a city that continues with the police transition or not. And the NDP is certainly hoping the package they put forward is enough to flip at least one council member from Locke's team to reverse this and continue on with the municipal police force.
Thank you so much for that, Rob Shaw. My question here, Linda, and I am a Vancouver resident. I don't live in Surrey. I don't have skin in the game. I'm watching from afar, and I'm asking how anyone in Surrey, any taxpayer in Surrey, might look at $250 million on the table to make their municipality safer, whichever way it went, whether it was RCMP or SPS. But if there's $250 million on a table, how does a councillor say, yeah, no?
It's a debacle. And, you know, in the meantime, there are thousands of people's lives. Yeah. I'm talking about RCMP who don't know what's going on, who are very upset, who have families and wives and husbands and whatever. There are hundreds of SPS people in the same boat. Surrey taxpayers are sick of this. Everyone's sick of it. Everyone's looking for a resolution. I hope we get one soon.
I got a question about this, and you're very obviously knowledgeable on the subject, but with the conditions that were put forward by the Solicitor General, by Mike Farnworth, when he said, in order to stay with the RCMP as opposed to transitioning to the SPS, which is already well underway, which they recommend as a provincial government, what the criteria that must be met, the recruitment around that, and how it's pulling from other jurisdictions in BC, making other communities unsafe. That's what I'm hearing in this. Like, how can the RCMP deliver across the province?
Well, and the problem is, and I'll make this brief because we got to get to the Vancouver Police,
right,
is that there are currently 1,500 soft and hard vacancies with the RCMP from every corner of the province. There have shown a difficulty in recruiting for a very long time in BC, and in fact, this is a national problem. So,
They say it's just a COVID problem. So let's see.
Yeah.
We'll see how this unfolds, and we'll keep you posted on it because, like we said, it affects all of us. It is a provincial issue, not just a Surrey issue and not just a family of those involved issue. So, but for Vancouver Police, big news this week was the whole lawsuit around, or the investigation around Myles Gray. Inquiry, thank you. Right word, see? Layperson.
Myles Gray was a young guy from the island who was, I think he was supposed to be delivering flowers or something. Something happened. He started acting erratically, spraying a woman with a hose. And police were called. And at the end of the day, this guy died from his injuries. He had like a busted testicle and a broken voice box. And,
it was
and
awful.
Just like all kinds of injuries. I think his eye socket was broken.
Yeah, it was ruled a homicide in this inquiry, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a thing. And the 7 officers involved are still employed, which has some people up in arms.
Well, and for sure the family. All I can say about it, I think the problem was the union recommended to those officers not to take notes, which of course looks sketchy.
Yeah.
I think the union was trying to protect them, knowing that this was going to get difficult. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I doubt
But we would
that
if
there
we had
were
body
7
cams.
danger. Well, see, there you go. And that's what another thing that came out of the inquiry. Calgary Police Service is the only police service in the country that went with full body cams.
Yeah.
And it is expensive because you have to keep the video every day from every officer, from every minute, and it has to be kept on file for years just in case somebody wants to go back.
But think about the time that would be saved in a courtroom when you have the video evidence of the moment.
Oh, no, I agree.
Like, that's the thing.
But now you're going to go back to taxpayers in Vancouver and Victoria and Surrey and everywhere and say,
well, I know where
now the police department needs another $20 million in its budget to pay for the cameras.
I know where $250 million is.
Some people will say, that's BS.
I know where $250 million is.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to move to other topics here. I'm sure we're not
Are we
done
done
with
with
this one.
policing? Oh, my
Maybe
goodness.
not. We're going to talk about a new documentary. No, we're going to talk about
Oh.
policing again because there's a new documentary called Manufacturing the Threat. It's a doc with a local terrorist twist.
Yeah, and stay tuned for that. Still ahead, a fun girls' weekend is upended after cameras are found in the bathroom outlets of their Airbnb on the Sunshine Coast. What? We're talking Airbnb concerns next.